Now, so we'll just get everyone around here. Now, basically, these games are, it's called Fish for Fractions and Fractions Dice. They're on page 93 and page 36 in the manual. But the easiest way to do it is to have everyone around together just having a look, so you'll get what I mean. So, we'll pick now who will embarrass. So, we'll say, both of us will go here. So,
Okay.
so this is your board, Geraldine.
All right.
This is my board here. And the objective is to whoever clears the board first.
Okay.
So, we're all gentlemen here, so you can go first. So, you got a quarter, so you have to remove a quarter.
Move a quarter. Okay.
Now it's my go.
Yeah.
All right, I have 3/8.
Right.
So I'm going to remove 3/8. Right, Geraldine, off you go.
1/8.
Okay. I'm going to go again. Now, I'm going to remove 2 quarters. Now, if you see a child doing this, what's that telling you?
They really know what you're talking about.
They know equivalent fractions, right? Stay going. Half. Right, we'll pretend I got, where's it gone? We'll pretend I got 3/8.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to take, what's that showing me as a teacher? The assessment in this is huge, huge. All it is I've manipulated the dice. So they're just little sticky things. You can use normal dice and put little sticky things on them. You can get the cube, make the cube nets and have nice big ones and make a big deal about it.
Yes.
This game can be made up as you go along. The easiest way is to remove. It's harder to add, okay?
Yeah.
And another teacher suggested that, well, another way you could do it is in the least amount of moves.
Right.
How can you move them? So is it better then if I get 2 quarters?
yes, yeah.
Is it better to remove the half or the quarters? Why?
Bigger piece.
And
It's one. The chances of it coming up.
if I get,
Yeah.
1/2, I only have, the big pieces.
Yeah.
Whereas if I remove the 2 quarters and then a quarter comes up again,
Yes.
I have nothing to take.
Right, yeah.
So the rationale behind it, and you get them to verbalise all that and stuff. And kids get very into this.
And if somebody
Get
gets a
strategic,
half
you know.
and they remove all that side, is that okay?
That is something that if a child did that,
Dancing around.
I would be going, well, they know, they've been listening to me now for the past month, and then I would go, do you know what now? Because of that, we're going to have to make a rule that it's half of the box, and that is the unit. But if someone did that,
Here's a teaching moment.
I'd be delighted if someone did that, because I'd be like, there's someone that's clued in now. Right, next step. Is there any questions about that?
No.
So all it is, card and laminate it. That's all it is. Brilliant game. You
That's
can
for individuals or for groups?
you could do it either way, but I think it's better off if you do like this, you model it.
Yes.
And then you can turn it into a group activity as like a station, because the pupils can play it themselves. So again, it's totally up to your own, depending on the classroom situation and whatever, do you know? But or you could do it like that, teams, half the class or this, half the class. You can help, or you can confer. You can make it like a Blackboard Jungle style. You know, that you can confer to which is the best to do. And you know, the way you can build it up yourself. There's like you do anyway. So we'll move to this one now. So we'll pick on. So we'll go Anne, Helen, and Amanda. So Anne, you're less than a half. You're between a half and 1, and you're more than 1. You turn over a piece. You have to put that piece back down where you got it if it doesn't apply to your group. So, and off you go. Hold up the piece to the group. What's it show?
1.5.
So it shows 1.5 on a number line. What type of representation is that?
Linear.
Linear representation. Can you take that?
No.
So it goes back down.
This is 5/8.
What representation is it?
So it's in a circle.
Yeah, area representation.
Yeah.
Can you take that?
Yeah.
So 5/8, so that goes with you. Then,
I just have 1 1/4.
so will that go with you?
Yep.
See how the game works. So you have linear, area.
Area.
Well, look, I'll just start turning a load of them over. Here, come on, just give me a hand to turn them there. So you have linear, area, and set. So if you all want to come in just to look, you have linear, area, set, and abstract. That's grand now, because that'll show good.
Yeah.
So you have abstract representations,
Yes.
Okay.
linear representations,
Okay.
area representations.
Right.
And you're using your benchmarks of
Of that.
a half,
Yeah.
between 1.5 and more than 1. The informal assessment for a teacher here is brilliant.
Yeah.
And kids get so tactical. Because what they'll do is they'll take note of where all the pieces
Yeah,
are
oh, yeah.
that is relevant to their group but won't pick them up and memorise them. And then at the very end, when they've found and they've their poem, they get very tactical.
Would
with
you
it.
ever use the terms linear and, you know, for the children themselves?
I have, yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't see why
Yeah,
not.
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just,
I have, yeah.
Okay.
Again, it's total
Mm.
up to yourself, do you know, but yeah, I have.
If they get one, could they just keep them?
Or if they get the one that's relevant to their, or you can
They
make
have
up the
a
rules
turn.
as you go along. That's probably a nice one. If you get one, you get to turn again. That's a nice one, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Again, it's all about the learning going on here. But what I think is what's underestimated with stuff like this is the assessment potential of it for a teacher. Because we often assess in the abstract so much. And when the abstract is the problem, we don't know does someone really have the concepts.
Yeah.
And we don't know how far along on the line they are with the concepts. So that's the value of those. Any quick questions? We'll move on.
Do you have these on?
They're on the back of the book. So all you should do
right,
is
okay.
photocopy the page and laminate it and cut them out.
Laminate it.
All this is all there. So it's there for you.
And there's a diagram of that in the book as well.
We'll have a look at it now. Okay. Oh, in the book, sorry, just as we're here, because as Kira's talked about the diagram, in the book they just have two squares,
Okay, it's up to you to cut.
but I put in
Well, extend
3,
it, yeah.
and the old
Yeah.
green school's heading me shows recycled paper and everything. You know. So we'll move on. Thank you very much. So the fractions, the fish for fractions is on page 93. If you just want to flick to it, it's on page 93, and you'll see all the printouts there. So it's all there just to laminate it. And then the fractions dice game is on page 36. On page 36. Now, can I move on? So again, the kind of foundation of this is that you teach in the concrete and pictorial. No. So it's that you teach in the concrete and the pictorial to have understanding in the abstract. That's the kind of message behind it. And again, the manual should give you the suggested activities of how to teach the abstract concepts pictorially and concretely. So just a quick one here now. It's only as a point of reference. Sorry. So if you just have a quick look up here, it's looking at a number line and taking away fractions. Now I know in third class you're not going to be using the whole numbers, but I just have a quick reference to it. So how can you take away 3 1/4 from 1 1/2 without using common denominators? This is a suggested way on a number line. Now that's a very abstract concept for a child to be able to even get their head around. So basically you start out with 3 1/4. Ideally I should have the quarters marked in on this number line. So you start with 3 1/4, you go back a full unit to 2 1/4, and then you just go back 2 more quarters or a half. So you're taking away fractions without ever needing to use a common denominator. Because often it turns into a very complex multiplication sum. So someone in your class who doesn't have a good concept of multiplication, doesn't know the facts off by heart, straight away they have a problem then with the fractions. And it's quite difficult. So this is a way of teaching quite in a simple way. You can do this for any fractions depending on what way you split up the number line. So it's just, that's in the book as well. I'm just having a quick reference to it because I know subtracting the whole numbers isn't relevant for third. Now, we're going to move on to the place value decimals and percentages manual now. Again, you have your speech bubbles, which is the teacher talk. I'm trying to model most of that today. You have the kind of beware or warning kind of bits, and then you have your ICT links and the consolidation. So the first one, I'm going to skip this actually. So here now. So figure it out. Now this will be an interesting one. So you have 124. So apologies. You have 124 in base 8. Stands for what number in our base 10 system? So for example, our base 10 system, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, then you have 1, 10. Then you have 10 tens and you have a 100. You have 10 hundreds and you have a, that's our base 10 system. So you can set this up. Now, you mightn't want to do this with the kids, but I think it's good for teacher knowledge. So my kind of story is right. They're after discovering a new planet. And the Martians that live in this planet have no thumbs. So they only have 8 fingers. So they use a base 8 system in this planet. What number is 124 in our base 10 system? Do it with your group if you can try and figure it out. So what number is 124 in our base 10 system? And notice the way I'm not saying 124. It's 124 because what's it in our base 10 system? See if you can try and work it out. Does everyone understand what I'm asking? Okay. Basically, we use a base 10 system. So that's the hundreds, tens and units. So you have 10 tens here, and you have, you have 1 10 here, then you have 10 tens here. So this is units, this is 10 to the power of 1, this is 10 to the power of 2 in our current base 10 system. 124 in base 8 is what if it was in base 10? There's maths in this now. Yeah. This is basically, it's the place value system. And the idea with this is, it's been a little bit cheeky, but the idea is a child is there and they're struggling between tens and hundreds. And you're there, but it's only 10 times bigger. Hundreds and but sure, it's only 10 times bigger again. How do you multiply by 10? We all know what we shouldn't say, but what is it? Add a. But sure, what's 0 worth? But sure, how? Do you get what I'm playing it here? So it's very, very important that this is a nice way of getting into the child's mindset. So 124, Kira, we're on our base 10 activity. Could you explain how you might have got to that?
Well, I said if you counted in eighths, 224, it would be 15.
Okay.
And so then in the base 10, that would be 150. And then there was 4 left over, so 4 is half of 8. And then 5 is half of 10. So
Okay, hang on. We'll peel it back for a second. We'll peel it back. Where was your starting point?
well, I said that 8 was the same as 10, so I
Okay.
counted up in eighths.
Okay. So
And then I counted up,
so you divided.
8 into 124.
Okay. Did anyone else try that? How did it work out?
Yeah, that would be 15 with 4 left over.
Why?
Because 124 in base 10 and then base 8 isn't that too far removed from it, so the number's too small.
Should the number be bigger or smaller?
It'll be bigger.
Hands up who thinks bigger. Hands up who thinks smaller. Hands up who doesn't want to put their hand up. So, can you see what I'm getting at here with the questioning? I'm trying to elicit the first step. So then I'm going to peel it back again. And I'm going to go back here. If we look at a number in our base 10 system, you have units, you have tens, and you have hundreds. That's what we call it. But really, we have units. We have 10 to the power of 1, 10 units. We have 10 to the power of 2, 10, tens. If we were to go to here, what do we have? Right. Base 8 system. What will we have here? Units. What might we have here? 8 to the power of? Then what might be here? Now using that, could you see what number it will be? Again, I'm trying to elicit, I'm using the instructional framework here, I'm trying to elicit from the group what it is without jumping in and giving the answer. It takes a lot of practice as a teacher not to jump in and give the answer. Right, does anyone want to shout a suggestion at me? Sorry? Go on, how did you come to that?
Well, 3 is 3, 8 to the power 1 is 8, and 8 to the power 2 is 64. 64, 8 and 3.
So I've 1, 2, 4. Hang on now. Now, this is where I'm going to try and show it in a few different ways. So this is where I'm trying to show a pictorial representation of something that's abstract. So, sorry, go again.
No, I'm wrong.
But yeah.
I know, I'm very wrong there, right?
Now, what's good about that?
Give me a minute to do it again.
Self-correcting. So often by asking somebody to explain it, and that will happen a load with children. Oh no, actually no, that's not what I meant. Give me a and that's brilliant because that's where you want to get at with this kind of stuff. Does anyone else want to give a go there? To cut in. Okay. 1, 2, 4 in base 8. Will the 4 change? No. This 2, that's 2 what?
20. So then it'll be 8 and 8 is 16, so there'll be 2 in the second category.
It's 2 sets of 8. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2 sets of 8.
And then the remainder 4 goes into we call it the hundreds, the third category.
So this 1 here is what?
80. No, it's 64.
Why is it 64 and not 80?
It's 82. It's 8 squared.
$84 in a base 10 system. I'll go back again. There's a few different ways of looking at this. Basically, if you're using base 8, you've only 8 fingers. So you go up as far as 7. Then you have to bring the 8 over to the next column. Then you go up as far as 8, So we've 8, you've units here. The units are up as far as 8. Then you have 8 to the power of 1 set of 8. Just like we have the 10s up here. Then you have 8 to the power of 2. And so on. Now, there is method to this madness, and there's no doubt it's madness. Telling a child that can't see the relationship between units, tens, and hundreds. It's only 10 times bigger. Hundreds and thousands. Sure, it's just 10 hundredths. But sure, look at it. It's just another 0 on the end. It's the issue they have is the abstract thought. So unless we peel it back to that, for that child, they'll just get to the position where they'll kind of pretend that they understand it because they're sick of not getting it. Does that make sense? I'm generalizing quite a lot here. But it's a lovely activity to get into the mindset of a child. Now, to really try, and we won't do it, but if I did 2, 5, 3, 1 in base 6. If anyone wants to be tipping away at it there. Basically, this will be what? 6s. This will be 36 multiplied by 5. Because 6 is 36 is your base. 5. I'm just trying to make sure I lose everyone. And then you'll have what? 6 by 36 again. By the 2. So it's just that basically we assume, because we're adults, that place value is easy, it's understandable, it's sequential, and it is all them things if it's taught right and if it's pared back to the bones of what it is. So we found the problems, now we're going to find the solutions of how you can support pupils in doing that.
What MJ has demonstrated here is just written in bullet points, okay? And there are 8 of them. Now what I'm going to do is, again, don't want to marginalise this stuff by racing through it or anything, but I will ask you to take 3 minutes, all of you, to read down through those 8 points, some silent reading time, and then if there's anything that strikes you'd like to discuss or bring up, we'll have a chat about it. So page 14 of the place value section. Background knowledge for yourselves. Yeah, absolutely, you're dead right. No bother, no bother. Brilliant. Yeah, super. Yeah, very. Sure, you can't ignore those numbers.
10 to the power of 5.
You need nothing. But I don't know about you, but as a teacher, I always found the zero was a huge problem with place value, particularly if it was in the middle of something. Yeah. So, would anybody like to make a comment on any of those? Okay. Now, there is, of course, an identical section like that for decimals. I'm not going to go through it with you, but I do want to bring it to your attention. The pupils' misconceptions on decimals are particularly interesting to read, and I think you will relate to an awful lot of them when you do get a chance to read them. That's page 16, decimals of that same manual there. So again, I'm not going to labour these again. Before I hand you back to DJ, can I just bring something to your attention? It's been said a few times today, but I do believe perhaps it's one of the strengths of this particular programme. If you look at page 5 at the very, very beginning, you'll see the word we all see all the time, differentiation. Now, I don't know how many times inspectors come to us and say, you know, we go into schools, we go into NQTs, into the classroom, and one of the things we nearly always have to bring attention is need a bit more differentiation in the lesson or whatever, or throughout the week. That's something that seems to be something that comes up a lot of the time. And very often myself, I remember when I was doing lessons for the week or for a couple of days or a fortnight, the Kaikisha, you know, differentiation was something I put in the box at the end. You know, there was integration, there was differentiation, then there was assessment, you know. What I find about this approach is the differentiation is already inherent in your teaching. You know, by planning for the teaching of the concrete, the pictorial and the abstract. And that by doing that through the area, linear and set models, you are already differentiation. It's just a natural part of what's in this. So, you know, even by recording in your lesson plans that you're attacking these 3 ways of doing it, you are differentiating, you know. And just another page I'll bring to your attention before I sit down. And again, it's page 20. It lines up, and again, this is all, you know, all in line with, all compatible with research. It lines up what MJ's been talking about all day here. On one hand, we have the area, the linear, and the set. But the area, the linear, and the set models can all be represented in concrete form, in pictorial form, and in abstract form. So there's a parallel between area, linear, and abstract, and concrete, pictorial, and set, because they can all be represented each of those ways.
Sorry, what page is that?
Page 20. Okay? So if I'm using concrete materials, I can use them with the area model using the pies and everything else, and the geoboards.
That's 20 for the first set.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, I beg your pardon. Yeah, the first one. It's the very, very opening. If I'm using concrete materials, I can explore the area model with my pattern blocks, with my pie pieces, and with my geoboard. I can also demonstrate the concrete using linear Cuisenaire rods and, you know, concrete materials like that. And the sets, I can use my little vehicles and my little bears with it. And similarly, if I want to move on to the pictorial, okay, I can use concrete there. I can use area model, rather. I can use linear, my number lines, whatever. And I can use sets. So there's a correlation between the area, linear, and abstract, and again, the concrete, pictorial, and set. Does that make sense? Back to you, MJ.
Yeah, cheers. Now we're going to quickly have a look at some place value material and things like that. So ring is king. Now I'm just conscious of of time, so I'm going to describe this activity rather than us going to do it because I want to move on to the next one, okay? So basically the way it works is we're going to play it in base 4. So you have a dice, a loaded dice, which means that you've it manipulated. So I only have it going as far as 3. Obviously if you're doing, you could do base of 7, you could use the 6 dice, you know, it can't go over what it is. So you roll it out, you get 3, first of all it's counters, so when you get 4 counters, that gives you a straw. Then when you get 4 straws, that gives you a ring, and that's the way that you win the game. And you could develop that eventually to be 10s. So when you get 10 counters, you get when you get 10 counters, you get a straw, which is worth the 10s. Then when you get 10 straws, it's a ring, which is worth the
Yeah.
100s. But 10 is not a number you can do this with because it's too big.
Yeah.
So that's why it's brought back to base 4 or base 3 or base 2. This
Yeah.
can be done with pupils, and it does give them a good grounding of the concept. Now, I was explaining the concept abstractly here, and you saw the fun we had. Whereas if I'd given out something like this, we'd all have had it straight away. So it's just reinforcing that continuous point again. And again, it's just, you know, the material is, you pick it up anywhere, you know, it's just, all it is straws, counters, and a bit of tape. Now, the next thing I want to do is, at your place, so I might give you,
Yeah, sure.
if you leave one of each
Yeah.
at
On each table. Right. Give you 2 of those, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Sorted, yeah.
Now you get the big ones.
Okay. Now, I will go and go in,
Set of arrow cards each. No, that's it then.
That's it, we're cool.
Now, at your place, you have 3 types of material. You have 3 types of material. Now we're looking at place value. So you have all concrete material, but it's split up. You have groupable, which is like the toothpicks and the toothpicks and the lollipop sticks. You have pre-grouped, which is the Dean's blocks. And then you have your pictorial, which should be your recording it on a recording sheet with the children. And finally you have your abstract, which is your number, the number fans. So can each person get a number line, or the number arrow cards, should I call them, sorry, an arrow card each. And then what I want you to do is represent this number with the equipment you have. Okay? So with the equipment, with the different types of equipment, so you have groupable, you've pre-grouped, and you've arrow cards. Show me that number, please.
Thank you.
Now, I'll just refer to this. In the manual, on page 25, it refers to the sequence that you should teach. Now, naturally enough, which would you teach first, the groupable or the pre-grouped? Some say pre-grouped, some say, does anyone say groupable? Which? What do you think? Yeah. It's recommended from the research that you would teach groupable first, because the pupils tactically have to, it's tactile learning, and you're hoping they'll discover that the 10 is a very workable group to group them into. Most will do it by default anyway, because that's what they're familiar with. Yeah. But by using the groupable, you're grouping into 10s. So you have your units, then you have your 10s, then you have your 10 10s make a 100, and you would literally tie the lollipop sticks together like that. So if we look here, you have the groups together. There's sorry? Yeah, just open them up, yeah. So the idea is that the pupils get the opportunity to realise that 10 units make a 10, and the 10 10s make 100. Once that is discovered and reinforced, Then you have the groupable. So the groupable is the Dean's blocks. So in the Dean's blocks, I'm sure people are familiar with them, but you have your sets of 10 and then your units. Now there's a bag there where you're short a set of 10. Which one is that? Yeah. So that's not by accident either. So I left a set of 10 short here. So you had to group 10 units together to show that, well, it's the same as the stick or the 10. Does this make sense?
Yeah.
And then finally, you're showing it abstractly with the number cards. So it's showing the tens, or with the arrow cards showing the tens and the units. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
So if you just quickly refer to the manual, page 25 is the order of teaching it, and the activities are on page 30 and 31. Oh, don't worry about it. I'll come back after. That's all right.
One small key first, yeah.
Now, the next piece we're going to move on to is Kira's just handing out number files. We're going to use them in a minute. But I just want to quickly just go back here. Can you see the value of using the groupable material? This slide, no, but it's all done in narrative form on page 25. So the value of using it is they actually have to group the materials together. Straws is another great one for that. Just packs of straws. And you don't need fancy equipment. It's the toothpicks, the lollipop sticks, the straws, this sort of stuff. Yeah, sweets are brilliant, but the only problem is yes, and you have to get the packs that make sure there's 10 in it. And sometimes the effort isn't worth the reward. Does anyone know off by heart any pack that has 10 automatically? Okay, there's a lovely one straight away.
Okay.
Do you know? So that's one now I'll be using as an example for the next time. Thank you. So moving on. Now there's a load you can do with the 100 squares, and in the activities there are in the book. The ICT links are excellent for the 100 square because it's online 100 squares and blank 100 squares and produces interactive activities with the whiteboard. But so ordering digits. So for example, I'll just click them all down so you know where they are. They're all on page 37 to 42. So if you just want to leave to 37, and I'll talk through them here then with the bigger board. So for example, ordering digits. So what I would do here is hand these out. So right, where does the 27 go? And you know the kids would have them, they come up, they put it in. Why does it go there? Because it's beside the 28 and it's in the 7. Then another nice one then is where you have the missing number. So what are the missing numbers around 45? And this is obviously very different. This is very supported. Whereas if I clear out half the middle, it's not as supported. So you're hoping then, so if I take out these, we'll say. Now, what number goes there? How and why? What's your? Can you justify that or why?
Because I'm looking at those six units, shall we say, down, and I'm still counting the tens down, 6, 16, 26, or 6, 46 or
Huge learning there.
And look the amount of expressing you have to do, you know.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
And like these are brilliant. Oh, like this is very easy, Nick. Just do you know the if you didn't want I think this is quite cheap to buy anyway. But you know the magnetic tape.
Yeah.
So all you do is print up the numbers, magnetic tape on your board. Draw a grid.
Nice having the top of
Yeah, it's very handy. And then the other nice part of this is, so for example, guess my number. So right, I'm thinking of a number. Anyone want to? You've asked me a question now to try and guess the number. So
Is it an even number?
is it an even number? Yes, it is. Someone else asked me. Start firing at me.
Is it greater than 50?
Now, if someone asks you that, you know they have a great concept of it, because it's the best benchmark to cut. It is not greater than 50. I should only answer yes or no. Go on, we'll keep going.
Is it a multiple of 7?
No,
Is it less than 10?
no,
It's a multiple of 5.
no,
Is it less than 20?
no,
Is it less than 30?
yes.
You've forgotten it, haven't you?
No, I was still answering. Thought I had, it's close.
Has it got up 2 in the units?
Yes.
22.
So, like, when someone is asking questions like that, you know they're, and then you can just turn it around. Do you know, what I would suggest doing this, now again, it's because of time constraints, if someone said is it less than 50, well then you turn all the red ones off
Okay.
that aren't. Or is it a multiple of 10 and you're turning them, so the incidental learning that's going on is quite visual. Or the usual, you print out the 100 squares and a little highlighter at their desk,
Yeah.
and then you just wipe them out.
Yeah.
Do you know, the simplest little things are,
What I usually kind of like that, I usually do again, who wants to be a mathematician, to bring them up and live like 3 lives for one friend and ask the audience.
Oh, nice one.
So they do it on the board and the person sits down and they write the number between 100 above their head, and then they get to guess, they get one friend.
oh that's lovely.
How lovely.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
But they love it.
And it's the exact same idea.
Yeah.
Oh,
The,
great.
the only difference is that this is the crutch. This is the support for someone who mightn't have it abstractly. Other thing, and this is something that I only fully discovered when we were doing research for this. What's the difference between 100 square and 99 square? Sorry? Yeah, and where the 100 appears there, whereas the 99 in the other one, all the 10s are at this side. In this, they're at that side. It's just one to be aware that would be something a school would have to decide with their school plan what they're consistently going across the school.
Throughout the school, yeah.
So because if someone is gone out to the
Imagine.
support teacher and sure all the 10s are down here, and then they're coming back into the classroom and they're all down here,
Yeah.
like it's very, very difficult space to be in if you know. It's just something to be aware of, that's all. Now, hopefully my link should work here,
Great.
and we'll get into
Just
it.
away there.
So this one is basically to find the number. So 35. So then it's an interactive whiteboard activity. So how will I guess what 35 is? So I go like this. Okay, 46. That was my first guess gone. Now how can I refine that? So I know I'm going to go with, well, it's 24. So now I know what it's going to be. 35. The informal assessment of this is super. Do you know, if you get kids up to the board to do it. Because the first one, do you know, is the crutch. So where's 73?
Right.
Anyone give me a hand?
Some in the middle, some are, yeah.
So if I'm going this way, what do you know about me?
Yeah, it's a bit bigger there.
So do I understand the full concept of the unit?
No.
No, if I'm over here. So if I'm looking at this side,
Like this,
Yeah.
yep.
do you kind of see?
Yeah.
And it's the questioning that
Yeah.
results from it. This obviously is lovely if you have a computer room and you can float around and watch them all do it.
Yes.
Otherwise, it's very nice to station. Getting up someone at the board like this, it depends, you know, as you know yourself, on the character you're bringing up and whether you know yourself, use your own
yeah.
judgment. But I think it's a very, very useful one. So it's nice. There's loads of ICT links. I'm only flying through.
Are we getting CD with those on it? Is that what you said?
These are all just links.
Oh,
These
yeah.
weren't created, so they're just links to
Links
external
to each.
websites. So they should be on the what Leah gave out here.
Yes.
They should all be there. Yeah. But they are also on. If you go onto the PDST site, the manual is there online, and you can click straight in.
Exactly, yeah. The electronic version of this is online, so you will be able to click on the link then. Yeah.
Another one I just want to quickly show you is, oh there it is, base blocks. So for example, as we know, the base blocks can be quite expensive to buy. You know, the Dean's blocks we just used. So this is your next best step. So you have your hundreds,
This is great.
so you drag your hundreds over to your tens. It breaks into the tens. You drag your tens into your units, and it breaks into the units. It's not concrete, but it is pictorial. You know, so if you only have one set of Dean's blocks within the school, this is a nice way of using it because the whole class gets to see it pictorially, and then your few that might need to do it concretely can have the Dean, or you can rotate them each day. You know, it's a classroom management thing. You know, you all know about that yourselves. But what I like about here is it goes show a problem. So use the blocks to show 79. So they have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 70. So I've put in one too many, so I have to drag it down to the bin. It's lovely visual.
Yeah.
You know?
What site is that one?
This is the National Library of Virtual Manipulatives. So it's NLVM. This is an American-based website, and you'll end up using it daily if you get into all the stuff that's in it. It is superb. Because all the commercial stuff that you buy that can be quite expensive is up here in a virtual sense. It's excellent. What I also like about this is you can change the base.
Oh.
So if I change it to base 3, so I go 1, 2, 3, and it lets me put in way too many. So base 3, so 103 in base 3. That'll be fun. So again, that's really now that's extending it. You wouldn't be doing it with the kids, but I'm just saying it does give you the facility to change the base. It's lovely.
Very nice,
And that's the National Library of Virtual Manipulatives. You can just search it. Again, the links are in the online manual. Now, any quick questions? Can I quickly move on?
Yeah.
Okay, the next one. Can anyone read this number? Or with your partner, please, can you say the number? Or with someone at your desk. With someone at your desk, say the number. Would anyone like to give it a go? Brave the elements.
27,938,724,591.
Super. Does anyone use that method?
Yeah.
She just told me.
You work back. So you start here. The way we say a number is denoted by our base 10 system. Hundreds, tens, units. Hundreds, tens,
You
units.
can just put commas in.
Yeah.
Put into three.
Correct. This is, can everyone turn to page 45? It's on page 45. And now try and say the number.
Because it's the houses themselves that might be easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Page 45. Page 45 of the second manual.
The second one, yeah.
Now we're literally only getting snapshots of the manual. There's a lot more in this for yourselves when you go back, but just due to time constraints. And again, we'll revisit some of this as well in our webinars.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah.
Question answer So there's just a quick note on the numbers there, and you see the arrow cards and bits and pieces. The next, and it's just we'll quickly finish off then with these activities here. The next one I want to do, it's on page 47. So, Kira, if you don't mind,
Yeah.
can I get you just to give a placemat to each, or a placemat
Yeah.
and just a box? So a pack between two.
Oh, okay, two people.
Yeah. So this game is called Nice or Nasty, and it's a place value game. So you'll get a pack of cards and you'll get a sheet to lay it on. On this sheet there's 3 spaces. What you do is you draw from your pack of cards without the picture cards. Ace is equal to 1. And you have to make the biggest number possible on your place card against your partner.
Yeah.
So
Here, yeah.
So you're playing against your partner,
2.
and you just draw from the pack. If picture cards you can be taken out, but ace is equal to 1. So it's it's for place value 110 units. So we'll just do it quickly. Well, you can just pull the cards and you'll be able to play along yourselves, you know. It's just to get the idea. So the nice version, you have to try and make the biggest number. So pull out the cards and off you go. See how you get on. So just turn the pack over and take out a card.
Yeah.
So turn the pack over. So I'll demo here if you want to look here actually. So if you want to look here, I'll demo it here. So basically we're going to play against each other. So here's our pack of cards. We'll pretend we've taken out our picture cards. So ladies first. So you have a 9. So where are you going to put that in your grid? 9. I got a jack, which shouldn't be there. Queen. I'll pitch it up. So I got a 9 as well. Now I'm going to put my 9 here in the middle. What's that flagging up? I mightn't be fully okay with my place value. Continue on. Ace is 1. So you put the 1 there. Then I've put my 2 here. So I have 290 something. You have 900. So it's a very good way of, place value. The nasty version. Now this is where we're going to go again. In the nasty version, you can put the card on your placemat or your partner's. So we'll go ladies first again. So you have a 1. So the 1 is put in my 100 spot. Very competitive, this table here. Now I have a 9. So I'm going to put the 9 in my 10 spot. Hope for the best. Yeah. Now. No. So, do you get what I mean? So it's a bit of fun. So, but it's very good for informal assessment. It's very good for seeing the pupils understand place value and they love playing it. They love it. Just an extension onto that, even though it's not relevant to what we're talking about. But you can do like 21 as well. Or the race to 100 is. I'll just grab that. Sorry. The race to 100 is like how many. Like I pull out a 6 and a 5, so you can multiply them or add them. So I'm going to 6 5 is 30, and then I pull out a 9. So I can't go a 9 30, so I'm going to add it on. Join. It's all the way up to 100. So it's like 21, just playing with the cards. So it's a great way of just revising computation. Now not really for third, but it's just you can do an addition with third up to whatever. It's just ideas. The target boards. Are you familiar with these? Yeah. Anyone not familiar with them? I'll just go quickly with them. So find a 3-digit number with 5 tens. Someone shout out.
450.
Okay. Which row is the most tens? Which row is the most tens? Which number has 275 units? Thank you. Find a number with 2 in the tens place. Find a number 3 tens bigger than 2, 4, 5. Add or subtract 2 numbers to get a number with 1 in the hundredths place. Yeah. How many numbers can you find with an even number in the tens place? So again, this is a board with numbers. It's like the equipment earlier on. It's all back to teacher questioning. You can make this up on a Microsoft Word document. All about the teacher questioning. Just as we're on the topic, there's also here for decimals. So the decimals one is lovely. So, where am I going? I always end up going the wrong way. Okay. What's the total of the first row? What's the total of the second column? My magic number is 4. How far from 4 is each of these? And so on. It's all about the teacher question. They're lovely.
And I suppose the more open-ended the question, the better. In other words, that it's got more than one answer possibly,
Now, the next one now. Let me see. We have, the digit change. So, okay, number fan. I want everyone to close their number fans. This is decimals problem now. And I want you to show me the number that's up, I'm going to put up here. So, first to show is the winner. So, you ready? Go. Could you show us in class? Is that the right number?
No. Oh, sorry.
Okay, lovely. 2.6. Right, next one. Go. What's this force you to do? Yeah. What's it force you to do?
The order of the numbers.
Yeah, and manipulating the decimal point. That's what this is forcing you to do. Now, there's a negative with these as well. Like, they're very handy like that for the class glance. But you can't show,
2 point, yeah. It's actually limited, I thought, yeah.
just to be aware of that.
Yeah.
You know? Oh, to manipulate them and stuff, it can be, do you know, often what I find is as handy is, you know, if you've, you know the way you've cutouts from when you're laminating something, the end of it, just hand them out with markers and sure kids can use them as a little board, show them up and then wipe them off. They can be just as effective. Do you know, just to, but again, a lot of these are with the maths equipment in schools. I think some program, yeah, and they're there, so it's nice to use them in that sense. But there's a load of stuff in the book that goes with the number of fans as well. Now, estimation. So again, estimation is a huge part of place value, massive part of place value. And a lot of time when we ask children to do things and they come up with an answer that's so far removed from the numbers in the question and they don't recognise that, and it goes back to estimation techniques. And it's like earlier on with the fractions and the string. You know, you have to estimate to do that because it isn't the right or wrong answer. So just be aware that when we're asking the pupils to estimate, and then if we end up getting the right answer in the end, it kind of, you know, it mightn't be the best way to go about doing it. Because often the estimation that's in books just lends itself to the right answer. And I often find that pupils like to rub out the estimate then and leave in what they think is the correct answer rather than the process of estimation. So it'll be very important. And again, there's a lot of it on page 50 about estimation techniques, estimation gains, things like that. And then they just have the rounding. So it's like 1 to 4 stay on the floor, 5 to 9 climb the vine. So it's 1 to 4 stay on the floor, 5 to 9 climb the vine for rounding to 10 or within the tenth. And then we have on page 54 it's rounding and estimate activities. Now we're almost there now. As opposed to our decimals, similar to the fractions structure this morning, the decimals is the same way. Linear and set, only you're using tenths and you're using decimals. So it's the same equipment. So show a tenth on the piece of paper. Show a tenth with the number sticks. Show a tenth of the full set. So there's no need to kind of go over that approach again. But that's on page 62. Within the manual. Then we quickly show the show me. Now, this is the final bit because I'm conscious of our time. We said you'd be out of here by 4, so I'm only gone over by 4 minutes so far. Eliciting, supporting, extending. This is the framework that the whole programme of Impact Maths is built on. The activities are a support, but it's all about the teacher questioning. And it's all about eliciting from the pupils where they are, you supporting them as a teacher to move on, or you facilitating other pupils to support them to move on, if that makes sense. It doesn't have to be the teacher the whole time. And then finally, extending the knowledge the next step again. And that's done by very, very specific, very, very tactical, very, very purposeful teacher questioning and teacher activities. I hope that I've kind of, and again apologies for when I had my teacher hat on during the day, but I hope I've tried to demonstrate through the activities we've done what eliciting, supporting, extending would look like. And how that as a teacher it's very hard sometimes not to give the answer and to take that few extra minutes to get the feedback and get the rationale for it. Finally then, the key messages for today. First one was, a variety of learning experiences enhances the understanding of maths concept skills and allows for different ability and learning styles. So as Ciara mentioned, it's self-differentiated. if you follow, if you choose to do these
It's done
activities.
for you, like, yeah.
Okay? It's by giving the children a variety of learning experiences rather than just teaching in the abstract that you're hoping they're coming along with you. And then that's the little picture just to kind of ignite that. Then secondly, the instructional framework, it supports and develops mathematical thinking. Because that's the whole idea, it's what we're about. How can we get the pupils thinking? And as Mia mentioned this morning, often in classes the teacher thinking out loud for the pupils as opposed to the pupils thinking and then verbalising that. And that's the mathematical thing. And finally, the instructional framework can be applied across all areas of the maths curriculum. We have illuminated it today through fractions, place value and decimals. We're going to have a manual on shape and space coming out, and as it'll be delivered to you, and there'll also going to be 2 webinars of support as well. A part of the webinar as well will involve kind of a retouch base to see how you got on since today. For, you know, so your comments, how you know, how things went, how things are going, the challenges, the successes, you know, because it's very important to embrace the challenges as well, you know, because that's where the learning is.
Yeah.
And finally, that's the structural framework. Ciara, would you know?
Can I just, first of all, before I thank all of you sincerely, I just want to commend MJ for the powerfully energetic delivery that he gave us today. MJ is one of the best that we have, and I think any group of teachers that gets MJ to deliver to them is very, very fortunate. He has a great depth of mathematical knowledge, but he's totally and utterly rooted in the realities of the classroom as well, and that's a very, very, a very unique kind of combination. So MJ, sincere thanks, and thank you very much. You really, really brought the manual to life. Thank you very much. And to all of you, the fact that you're here on a Saturday is testament to your commitment to your craft and to your vocation. We hope that leaving today, you are in a slightly different space to what you were coming in. It will take, of course, going back and actually implementing it and kind of using it and becoming a user of it yourself for that to really, really happen. But as MJ said, there will be the follow-up, the webinars. We will follow on with the shape and space. And although the shape and space, the fractions and decimals, percentages and place values are the ones that will appear in the manual, we'd like to encourage you to use the instructional framework pedagogy across all areas of maths in terms of the question, because it's generic, and indeed across the curriculum as well, because it is good teaching, you know. So we hope we will see you all again. It has been fabulous working with you today. You've been absolutely terrific, and safe home.
Cheers.
Okay.
Thank you very much.